Engine on, check. Ghost 2 deactivated, forgotten the code. Ghost 2 deactivated, check. Let's get this thing into drive and give it a spin. I might have to sell this car. Hi Tailoring Talkers, Roberto here, and welcome back to the cockpit of the M2, which you've not seen for a while, and to be honest, neither have I, because I've barely driven this car this year. It's March, coming up to the middle of March, and I've barely done 20 miles in this car. It's ridiculous. So today's going to be a little bit of a random ramble, because I may be selling it. Now, don't get me wrong, I have not in any way, shape or form fallen out of love with this car, but the question has reared its head as to whether I'm doing it a disservice by not driving it. The fact is that what I thought I would be able to do with it when I first ordered it, and indeed in the first 6-7 months where I was able to take it to Silverstone, I've been to Goodwood in this, Bedford racecourse as well, and then life just got ridiculously busy and I have done none of those things since. The car, I didn't even realise actually, it was January, end of January, when you get the kind of little reminder from BMW about your month in review. The app sort of then gives you a nice little summary of all your trips and average mileage, your driving style, comparing you to other M2 drivers as well. And I basically drove 0 miles in January. It literally was a big 480 plus horsepower ornament sitting on my driveway. And it's not that I didn't want to drive it, it's just the practicality and the reality of lifestyle. That I work in central London, I move around in central London, and I don't do much driving heading out of London. And when we do, we tend to be together, my wife and I and the dogs, and then we'll use the Hyundai IONIQ 6 that she's got. And I definitely need to do a proper review and video on that car now that the problems with it have been sorted out. For quick trips and things, I find myself grabbing her car keys, not the M2, because firing this thing up and getting to a destination where it takes such a short space of time, you've not even budged the thermometer on the engine, like the engine is just dead cold. It just seems like the wrong thing to be doing with a car like this. A car like this demands to be driven. And there'll be some of you watching thinking, well, why don't you just make time then? It's really, really difficult. My situation has really changed since I took delivery of this. My business has grown. I think the YouTube channel growing, albeit it's been a little bit slower the last couple months because we've not been producing much content. But it's no coincidence, because you know what we're doing with the audio podcast and with the YouTube channel. Instagram is certainly helped in the kind of ecosystem, the marketing ecosystem of what we do with the business. And you know, our business grew 40% last year. We are still just a small family business. Our tailoring business is just myself, my wife and our little workroom team. And we're suddenly shouldering, oh, Mustang Mark 1. I love those. And cops. You know, it is just our team, and we've now suddenly got 40% more business and orders and everything to deal with and everything that comes with that. and any spare time that I've got is spent with my wife and with our dogs. And you know, we will always use her car when we're together and we need to go somewhere. We'll never use the M2. Part of that is comfort. She definitely finds the Hyundai a much more comfortable car. Me personally, I am super comfortable in this. I didn't opt for the bucket seat. So anyone new to the channel, welcome, by the way. And I'll just segue into doing the usual. If you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. Help us out and hit like on this video if you enjoy spending some time with me. These seats are very, very comfortable. They're the standard sports seats, not the buckets, and they're fantastic. You know, they hug you in all the right places. They're very adjustable. So I don't have a problem comfort-wise, but admittedly, her Hyundai IONIQ 6 is one of the most comfortable cars that I've ever sat in, without going to the level of a Bentley or a Rolls-Royce. So yeah, so there's that. The other consideration is that any driving that I do tends to be around central London. So I'll either use public transport or I'll use my Vespa. If it's freezing cold and I've got lots and lots of things to carry, it's the tailor's curse that you always need to be carrying suits, and you'll visit clients and they'll give you stuff to take back that needs altering or repairing, and you've got to carry fabrics around with you everywhere as well. It gets really heavy. So when I have a day where I'm overloaded physically and the weather's shite, then generally I will drive. And taking the M2 into central London, where you've got thousands of cameras and, you know, red light cameras and speed limit cameras, and it's 20 miles an hour everywhere. You know, when you put this car at 20 or below, it doesn't like it. Like, it really, 19 is that point where it's saying, I want to move, I want to change gear. 20, it's dragging. You sometimes have to manually intervene to just move it into fourth gear. But even then, the car just wants to go. I mean, just then I just moved it to 4 and it went from 19 to 26 because I hit a bump, and because this car's just got an insane amount of power on tap, it just goes. And it can actually be a bit stressful to drive in a town where you've really got to watch what you're doing. You can't go blasting around everywhere in this thing. You know, you are liable to get yourself into trouble. I have a clean license and I really want to keep it that way. And this car, you know, is definitely a widowmaker as far as your driving license is concerned. You know, and it's just the fact of, you know, when you park your car around central London, someone's going to bump into it, knock it, scratch it. I just don't want to deal with any of that hassle. So that's kind of why, in a rambling way, the car gets left at home a lot now. And it is a big shame. I mean, I'm thinking about giving it this summer before I do put it up for sale. Just to give it a chance, and even give myself a chance as well, rather than just making a sort of, not knee-jerk, because I've been really thinking about it, but you know, just before making a rash decision. In the past, like the Supra, I let go, didn't look back. My 120M Sport, way before that, I let go, didn't look back. My TT let go, didn't look back. The Range Rover, got rid of that, didn't look back. The Mini John Cooper Works is the one that I've really regretted, and I'm so glad that I'm in touch, at least loosely connected, to the person that bought that car, and I know he's looking after it, and I know that I have a first option to buy that car back when he eventually sells it. This one is arguably worse than the John Cooper Works. I know that I will miss this car. I will be very, very sad the day that I hand the keys to someone else. And then there's the other consideration as well. Now, I have got the money in the bank to just clear this off. It's, I think, about 38k now. If I wait until the end of the 4 years, it will be 32. And that's actually quite tempting to do, just sort of do it, be done with it. But, you know, the other thing I've been sort of rationalizing is that, let's just say I sold this car and then I managed to last about 18 months. And then I was like, oh, do you know what? I really miss the M2. I need to get something like it. By that time, what car, and tell me in the comments here, what car could you get for 32 grand that's as good as this, that ticks all the boxes? I really, really want to know, because I'm really struggling. You know, and then there's the sort of new car thing, that I ordered this and it was a factory build and it's my car. The Supra, I would have probably held on to that were it not for the fact I bought it 18 months old, someone else had used it. They obviously don't look after their cars like I do, because there were little nicks on the dashboard and in the center console that were irritating. I tried to get a magic man to fix them as best he could. And then there was always this musty smell in there of, like, you know, when you get in, like, back in the day, those of you that are in my sort of Xennial age range will know, like, you got into someone's car and they were a smoker. There was always that little whiff of kind of smoke in there, and it just kept reminding me that it wasn't really my car. Like, it wasn't my car from the beginning anyhow. Now let's talk about EVs for a second. If you saw the last episode with John, Alex and I, where we were talking about electric vehicles and the fact that I am in the market for one. We're actually just about to buy one. John's in the market for a new one, and Alex is in the market to upgrade his Polestar. He's got I think it's a 6 or 7 year old Polestar too. And me being in the market for one is the shock, because I've been anti-EV, well, not anti-EV, but I just, you know, I haven't liked them. You know, I've seen more negatives about them than I've seen positives traditionally. But as I've been driving the IONIQ 6 more and more, I've actually come to love that car. I don't like the size of it. The IONIQ 6 is a boat. I love the size of this M2. This is perfect for me. This or smaller, I'm a happy bunny. What I do love about the IONIQ is when driving in a city like central London, where you've really got to be careful, otherwise you will get caught on camera and you will get points and all the rest of it. An electric car which just has an electric motor, doesn't have a gearbox, is a wonderful thing to drive when you've really got to control yourself at low speeds, because you haven't got a gearbox dragging on you. Please let me go, thank you. Now on the A41, one of the rare roads that I can run at 40 miles an hour, which fellow M2 owners know is still not enough for this car. This car wants 70, 80. It wants an Autobahn. That's what this car wants. And I noticed this when Carolina and I are back from the centre of town and we drive back, you know, sort of having been for a night out to the theatre or whatever, and there's a lot of traffic in central London on a Friday night at 10:30, 11 o'clock. It takes ages to get back. You know, and you're constantly stop-starting. It's traffic, it's slowing down to make sure you don't get caught by some of the more vicious cams, and speed humps as well. Doing that in this is not pleasant at all. It stresses me out. But doing it in the EV, it's not a bother at all. And given that 90% of my driving is under those sorts of situations, during the day as well when I'm doing client visits and so on, that's where the thinking that an EV might make more sense for me. Just a small one as well, nothing big. So we are 95% going to be placing an order for a Mini Cooper S fully electric. And when that does happen and it gets delivered, it's a stock car, so it's not going to take long. There will obviously be a video on that. And I test drove that last weekend, and it's a phenomenal little car. I am a Mini person through and through. My first car when I was 17 was an Austin Mini 1 litre Mayfair. Then the next one I had was a 2003 1.6 Cooper S manual. The next one was a 2019, I want to say 2018, 2019 5-door Cooper S. Then it was the F56 John Cooper Works, 2020 or 2021, that car. And so the Mini Cooper SE will be my 5th Mini in my life. And I'm sure it won't be my last. I've got my eye on a couple of other things, and I'm hoping my John Cooper Works comes back as well. I get to buy that back. So yeah, so that is definitely happening. And, you know, I was kind of thinking, if that does happen, the M2's got to go, because I'm just not going to use this car at all. It's just going to sit there. My wife is saying, don't get rid of the M2 straight away. Get the Mini, run them in parallel, see what really happens. But having test driven the Mini, and we're going for the exclusive version, which is the more luxurious version, just talking about the Mini just now, one has pulled up alongside me in the IONIQ white with black roof and mirrors combination that I'm going for. What a coincidence. Like I did with the M2, I was really deliberating over the colour as well, and seeing the IONIQ white in real life, I'm actually glad that I've gone for that colour. Actually, it's quite nice. You don't really see many of them on the road either. So yeah, so we've gone for the exclusive version, not the John Cooper Works, with the level 3 trim pack, whatever you call it, which has got everything on it, so it's absolutely fully loaded. It even has electrically adjustable seats like the M2 with the 2 driver memory positions. Heated steering wheel, heated seats. It's also got a massage function, which my M2 doesn't have. I wish this had a massage function. So from a spec point of view, there's nothing on it in terms of in-car spec that I would miss on this. The Mini's got everything and even more, surprisingly. In terms of power, I would miss the engine on the M2 more than I would miss the power of it, because, and this is a longer conversation about usable power in relation to an individual's needs, but the Mini SE is close to 220 horsepower, 330 newton meters of torque. It goes to 60 in 6.7 seconds is the official quote, but having driven that car, it feels a lot faster. I mean, it felt like that car could give this car a run for its money from a standing start. Obviously, at mid revs and, you know, 50 miles and above, forget it. You know, this car kills a lot of things, but again, I never get to go that fast, so it's a bit of a moot point. So that's why I just think, yeah, the Mini will just get used all the time, and the poor M2 just won't. So there you go. I think, you know, this car's got, like, the last time I washed it was September, I think. Some of you are going to be swearing at me. Oh, there's a bunch of bikers, and they're all nodding at me as they go past. So game knows game, or whatever the phrase is. So yeah, so a lot to think about and a lot to consider. I mean, even right now, I've decided to go to a supermarket that is 2 towns away from where, you know, I've got a supermarket that's 2 minutes around the corner. I've just decided to go a little bit longer so I can chat to you lot, and also just give this car a little bit of a drive. Also, it's a gloriously sunny day in London as well. Oof. That is hanging in second gear. What's going on? What is going on? I think there's something up with the standard mapping on this gearbox in the M2. Has anyone else found that? Has anyone else had just a remap, rather not like a tune or you know, got more horsepower out of it? Have you just had your gearbox remapped? Because I think the stock setup, although it's reasonably good, I think at low end there's a bit of there's some sort of problem with it. It would also help if I've not got my bloody leg up here like that. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, I haven't had this car wash since September. It's disgusting. The devil's blood treatment that we put on it is really, really good though. That has really helped. Oh, I need petrol as well. I better do that before I go. Petrol's still cheap at Tesco's. Look at that. Despite everything going on in the Middle East, it won't last that long. So better fill it up today. So yeah, so the car's it has really been neglected, and that is really, really sad. So anyway, there we go. I'll be back in a minute. I'm gonna, well, seconds for you lot, but I'll be back in like an hour because I'm gonna do some shopping and just get the boys here to wash my car. Oh my god, I can't get rid of this damn car. Look at it. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, it being beautiful is not a reason to hang on to it, but I mean, seriously? It's nuts. Did you see that? That's the problem with this car. It looks amazing. So Hemon at Waves in Hendon, who just washed it, and Waves, a big shout out to them. They are a generic conveyor belt car wash, but with my cars, I've known him a long time. He always gets a couple of his guys on my car to properly hand wash it, not just conveyor belt it. And I'm very, very grateful for that. But God, I walked back to it and I looked at it and I thought, oh my God, that car looks amazing. And he said he had about half a dozen people come over to take pictures of it and ask if they could sort of look inside it and so on. If that doesn't tell you that this is a good looking car, despite what some people say, I don't know what will convince you. But this is such a head turner. And I've said it on a video or two before that this car, when you look at the side profile with that long swooping bonnet, it really does have some Mustang muscle kind of vibes about it, especially with the body kit. And that was one reason I was so adamant that straight after picking it up on handover day, that body kit needed to go on. It went straight from Park Lane to CT Carbon to get all of those bits put on, and I don't regret it one bit. The car needed it. It just ties everything together nicely and just kind of beefs it up, fills out the gaps, and oh, it's just a magnificent looking car. And it's going to be so hard to let this go. See, this guy, right, I had to give way, and that's actually quite a dangerous intersection for him to be stopping, but he stopped to let me out so that he could look at... Okay. So that he could look at the car. And that does happen a lot. I don't know if other M2 owners find the same thing, but yeah, this car gets a lot of love and attention. So I will take my wife's advice, and we will take delivery of the Mini at the end of the month. So make sure you're subscribed for the video on that. I'm going to do a proper full review on this. Might try and link up with Trevor from Rolling Slow Media to do some filming with this car, and then I'm going to do a proper review on the IONIQ 6 as well, now that has had all its problems fixed. and it is now the car that we expected, hoped that it would be. But yeah, if I ever do let this car go, it's going to be so hard. But I'll run the Mini in parallel. We'll see how we get on. I mean, I know that I'm going to use the Mini every single day, and that this is going to be used sparingly. But yeah, who knows? Look, I do need to get some days up at Silverstone with the Box 3 Motorsport guys and so on. So, you know, like my wife says, don't make any rash decisions. And I'm sure I will see a lot of you in the comments, especially the regulars, and you will all be convincing me why this is the most stupid video you've ever seen me do. For anyone who's thinking about buying an M2, you're kind of interested in the car, do check out the previous videos I've done on this car on the channel. And as I said again, make sure you're subscribed with that notifications bell turned on, because we will be filming some in-depth reviews on this car very, very soon. So that will be coming in the next few weeks. Besides all the other content we've got a lot of Apple news to cover. There's a lot of style stuff that's coming as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for putting up with my erratic rambling, and I will see you on the next one.